TS in Brazil celebrated their centenary over a week-long program with lectures, musical presentations, and the release of the book, Theosophy, The Truth of All Ages. The 39th Summer Theosophical School was held in January 2020 on Introduction to Yoga, an esoteric approach. Cultural activities were carried out mostly by the younger group. Despite the pandemic challenges, the TS in Brazil organized the International Theosophical School and Winter Seminar on a virtual platform. It is noteworthy that there were 338 registrants. I compliment the TS in Brazil for organizing successfully virtual meetings and attracting 80 new members. All in-person meetings scheduled to be held in 2020 had to be canceled due to the unprecedented global crisis caused by COVID-19. All lodges and study centers, however, continued to have their meetings online with Zoom, and some even continued throughout the summer. Their national convention in August was held on the Zoom platform. The topic was the ego, its composition, its mechanism, and its transformation, which was done in both English and French. They are planning to have their 2021 convention on Zoom once again. It is unfortunate that the TS Chile, despite its best efforts, could not continue with their regular and special activities due to the long period of social unrest followed by the corona lockdown. The important event was the celebration of the 118th anniversary of the Arundhati Lodge's constitutional charter, being signed by Colonel H.S. Olcott. Certain activities were carried out on a virtual basis in the lodges. They have classified theosophical classes into external and internal education. Under external education, 4 theosophical classes were held in January 2020 for the public, generating good participation, of which 7 became new members. Internal education, with a members-only workshop, continued until January. Regular activities of the lodges, such as meetings and discussions, were held as usual, except that during March through September, they had to be held using electronic means via the internet. Some videos and talks were sourced from Spain, Argentina, and Brazil. Based on popular demand, a basic course in Theosophy has been started by some lodges for newcomers and non-members.
Like elsewhere, the pandemic cast its shadow on the Cuban theosophical activities. Fortunately, all regular activities, including public conferences, were held from October 2019 to March 2020, with the annual convention being organized in January 2020 on the theme Peace. The Dominican Republic has under it Atma Lodge, Nueva Aurora Lodge, and H.P. Blavatsky Group. Members are dedicated, active, and sincere in their studies. Due to pandemic meetings, conferences, and lectures now being conducted virtually. The 2 lodges of Peru conducted all their regular meetings, including studies on important books and special day celebrations, between October 2019 and March 2020. Thereafter, some programs were held on the virtual platform. TS of Puerto Rico has been holding regular meetings and theosophical studies in important and interesting areas on the virtual platform. The pandemic has not been a deterrent. The Universal Flame Lodge has a unique way of keeping the members excited by telephonic studies. Many members in South America, Caribbean, and Florida have been benefited by the virtual public lectures and conferences offered by the Spanish-speaking lodges. It is a nice gesture of sending excerpts of theosophical study to enable daily meditation. Regular activities were held from October 2019 to April 2020. During the lockdown period, virtual meetings were held once a week on the same day and time. Though due to pandemic, all conferences were canceled, members and well-wishers were invited to attend conferences organized by FTI and other Spanish-speaking sections. TOS in Uruguay has 3 main activities in their agenda: to donate wheelchairs, donation to animal shelters, and Qigong classes for living a holistic life.
Membership in the Theosophical Society in America is 3,370, with 910 life members. In mid-March 2020, everything stopped due to the pandemic, and headquarters was closed, anticipating a 2-week closure. Staff continued to be paid, but after remaining closed for 5 weeks and with little to no income and continuing expenses, 2/3 of the staff had to be furloughed. A special call for help was put out to members and friends of the TS in America, and the response was amazing. Many staff members have since returned to work. In mid-March, all face-to-face programs moved to an online format. The Thursday night lectures have continued. They are live-streamed weekly and then placed on YouTube. A weekly online meditation has been added, as also an electronic daily seed thought. For the coming year, Theosophical programs will continue to be provided online. The audiences have actually increased because the programs are now available around the world. The Henry Steele Olcott Memorial Library worked with Theosophical libraries in various countries to resolve collection gaps, increased membership by 23% from last year, and began making audio recordings and textual resources more readily available online, especially through www.archive.org. The Archives Department received donations of archival materials. Digitization projects continue, as also providing information on a huge range of topics. The Theosophy Wiki Encyclopedia continues to expand online, resulting in over 30,000 page views each month by users globally. The IT department did a network upgrade and redesigned the theosophical.org website to simplify navigation. It also supports projects like the new online School of Theosophy, study.theosophical.org, around the world. The AV department continued to post videos on YouTube with about 75,000 subscribers. The Theosophical Publishing House in Wheaton is focusing on production of audiobooks of classical theosophical titles and sales through Amazon. The Quest Bookshop offers 40% discount on all products available and had its most successful year in terms of numbers of visitors and sales. Most study groups have shifted to virtual meetings via Zoom. The prison program continues to provide assistance across the country, offering prisoners books, gift memberships, and correspondence courses, and over 450 prisoners have completed 1 or more courses. The TS in Venezuela celebrated the Foundation Day of the TS in November. Study classes and other activities have been canceled from March to September 2020 due to the global pandemic. In every lodge meeting, members meditate for half an hour for world peace and study books of Taimni, articles on science and spirituality, and other books. A number of theosophical talks were delivered at Nairobi Lodge on different theosophical concepts. A workshop on planning for the future was organized in which deliberations were made regarding the increase of membership and attendance at regular lodge meetings. On behalf of the Theosophical Order of Service, organized by Nairobi Lodge, 11 children were given wheelchairs, a pair of crutches to one child, and food packets were distributed to all of the children. The General Secretary visited Nile Lodge in Kampa in February of 2020 and delivered public lectures and conducted a seminar for the members of the Lodge. I am happy to know that several new members joined the Society. 2020 was a difficult year due to various reasons. One being a severe slump in the economy. Lodge meetings had to be moved to earlier time slots due to escalating crime. After the initial stages of the COVID-19 lockdown, most lodges opened in September. Attendance is expected to improve from January. The National Convention planned in September in Pretoria had to be canceled. A course on human constitution, its constituents and development is being introduced, and greater member participation is expected.
The 3 lodges of Austria, with 59 registered members, 2 members directly attached to the section, continued with their weekly lectures and other activities. Their annual meeting was held in March 2020 at Graz. Some of their members attended the summer school of the German TS. Until mid-March 2020, lodge meetings and lectures were going on as usual. Despite the lockdown, the formal annual members' meeting was organized. Most of the major events could not take place because of the global disaster. It is good to know that Belgian TS members had attended the international convention held in Varanasi in December 2019 to January 2020. The Belgian TS membership has come down to 62 as 3 members resigned on the grounds of inconvenience in attending meetings regularly.
This year can be divided into 2 halves. It began as usual with headquarters and lodges holding members' study groups, meditations and public lectures. In late March, the country went into lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic restrictions. HQ was closed to all apart from essential staff, and lodges could no longer meet. Since then, HQ and some lodges have successfully held their talks, studies and meetings online. The National President issues a monthly newsletter to maintain contact with all members in these difficult times. 3 White Lotus groups have been established for those unattached members all around the country who wish to become more involved with the Society and to have more interaction with other members. The 39th Congress of the European Federation of Theosophical Societies was due to be held in August 2020. The Congress is now planned to be held in August 2021. We continue to run the online foundation and higher diploma courses on Theosophy, which attract members and others from around the world. Our magazine, Esoterica, which is distributed to members and the wider public both in the UK and abroad, will be issued 3 times annually from this autumn. In October, we were pleased to welcome TS members living in Wales into membership of the English section.
The annual general meeting of the Finnish section was organized successfully in Krevela in July 2020. Due to the pandemic, the meeting was postponed from April to July. The major event of the year was the summer school in Krevela in July 2020. Eternal Wisdom and the Present Moment was the theme of the course. They had 3 other events in Krevela: a course on the healing powers of the nature and other secrets, a weekend for lodges, and a silent retreat. The local lodges in Estonia organized the Estonian summer school with the theme Peace Within Me. Estonian lodges had a winter seminar in January and a secret doctrine study class in March. The local lodges in Estonia organized the Estonian summer school with the theme Peace Within Me. Estonian lodges had a winter seminar in January and a secret doctrine study class in March. They also had an autumn study camp in August. From March to August, many events were canceled due to pandemic. The Finnish section has 21 lodges with 335 members.
The activities of TS in France were regular up to the lockdown in March. Bi-monthly courses attracted regular participants to the headquarters in Paris. Silent retreats took place 3 times a year. Meditation sessions were organized monthly. There were public lectures and introduction courses to Tai Chi. The section reacted quickly to the pandemic situation and began to organize programs on Zoom. The online presence has grown, including Facebook, YouTube, and weekly e-newsletters, permitting more attendees from a number of countries to participate in the programs. The bookshop was closed at the beginning of the lockdown, but clients could order books online, by phone, and by post. Due to disruptions in postal services, in April, the monthly magazine Le Lotus Bleu was published in electronic form, and since then, some subscribers prefer to receive it by email only. The National Convention, usually organized in June, was postponed to October 2020 and took place on Zoom. The Northern German Spring Meeting, the summer school, could not be held because of the corona pandemic. The book, Meditations on the Occult Life of Geoffrey Hodson, was presented to all members as a gift for their homework. It is very thoughtful on the part of General Secretary to have posted passages of books, sayings, and book and movie recommendations on the website. It is good to know that 5 new members joined after reading the book, The Universal Healing Field, which was gifted to them. As a part of Theosophical Order of Service activities, 2 healing groups met twice a month. The total number of members is 124. The Southern German meeting was held in September 2020. The one-day meeting was fruitful with talks and deliberations on the theme of healing. 2 important theosophical conferences took place in Greece: the History of Theosophy Conference and the European School of Theosophy Conference in October of 2019. The success of both the conferences was acknowledged by the participants attending from 20 different countries. Another important activity in January of 2020, when 2 lodges, Helios and Orpheus, were twinned with the Leeds Lodge in the United Kingdom. Before the lockdown, due to the pandemic, in the months of October 2019 to March 2020, 7 lodges had their regular meetings and lectures.
Of the 3 lodges in Hungary, it seems only Siddhartha Lodge is active. The pandemic lockdown already affected the program of the year. 2 new books were published, The Key to Theosophy and Self-Transformation. In total, 37 different theosophical books are available in the Hungarian language. The public lectures are recorded and available on YouTube channel of TS. A new website with a new design is made, containing about 170 downloadable translations of the classic as well as new theosophical literature. I am happy to know that a new lodge is likely to come up in Slovakia in the forest area. The 8 active lodges had regular Friday lectures and Saturday meetings with discussions and videos till February when COVID-19 intervened. The talks are advertised and open to the general public, besides members of the TS. The attendance was usually from 30 to 60 persons. People have the opportunity to meet the lecturer afterwards and discuss with him further. A few lodges have members-only meetings too. The annual Theosophical Journal, Gangleri, with 160 pages, was published with a painting by Nicholas Roerich on the front cover. No new books were published, but some of the earlier books were reprinted. The newsletter, Mondilfari, is published thrice a year, with theosophical news from all over. The website, in Icelandic and English, contains information on the section, its activities, events, a collection of lectures and articles by various authors, and so on. The summer school planned in June had to be cancelled. Due to COVID-19, the annual general meeting had to be postponed to twice.
In Ireland, both Belfast and Phoenix Lodges in Dublin had a successful, blessed, and harmonious year of meetings until the coronavirus lockdown. The 15th All-Ireland Convention in Dublin had to be cancelled. Nevertheless, the organizing secretary kept in touch with all the Irish members weekly, sending on theosophical programs and newsletters from countries abroad, including Adyar, the US, the Philippines, Europe, and so on. She also sent everyone a weekly selection of uplifting extracts from theosophical and spiritual texts. Each member frequently received attachments of TS News Worldwide and study notes from texts such as the Bhagavad Gita and the Voice of the Silence. The membership is growing. Despite the unprecedented pandemic, the activities of the Italian section continued with the use of new digital communication technologies. It also made it possible to develop new initiatives and new contacts. As a result, there is growing general interest in the TS and its activities. They have a website which is visited by 6,500 people every month and had increased during the lockdown. The website has a section which is named for members only, with a separate address. Their website is well-structured and rich in information. It gives information about TOS activities also. The monthly newsletter is emailed to over 3,800 people interested in theosophical activities in Italy. 5 books have been published this year. In November of 2019, a large audience attended a public meeting. Marco Passi, associate professor from the University of Amsterdam, presented a report on Antonio Fogazzaro and Theosophy, an investigation based on previously unpublished documents. I'm happy to share that an Introduction to Theosophy and the Theosophical Society course was produced, having lessons in the classrooms, Zoom lessons, and recorded lessons. It was a great success, and the second one has already begun. Despite COVID-19, a lot of activity is going on in the TS in the Netherlands and at the International Theosophical Center, ITC, in Naarden. The Gardens of Remembrance at ITC, which holds ashes of Annie Besant, Rukmini Devi, and others, is being renovated. A guest house was renovated in November. The membership has increased to 357. The general members meeting took place in October. The Dutch section includes a library of 21,000 books linked online to the lodge and ITC libraries, and a bookshop. There were 2 events with 80 and 100 participants before COVID-19. The rest had to be canceled. The quarterly magazine was published on the website. A bi-monthly newsletter was mailed to over 1,000 subscribers. Lodge activities included book discussions, films, talks, and so on. The project, the TS Netherlands in Changing Times, continues its obligation to keep Theosophy alive using social media, public relations, meditation sessions, and demonstrating that Theosophy is a matter of the heart and conduct, not only mental.
Stroman is a local active group of the TS in Norway, having a few solitary members. The secret doctrine is studied in Dharma Lodge 4 times a year. Due to COVID-19, Stroman Local Group conducted meetings through Skype as only 6 persons were allowed to meet physically according to government instructions. Until March 2020, the TS of Portugal organized its regular meetings along with the traditional commemorative days, public meetings, panel discussions, and other activities. During lockdown because of pandemic, video conferencing mode was adopted by lodges and study groups also. The website is a potent platform, and other social media windows are also used to reach the members and maintain the enthusiasm and interest. A regular newsletter is edited and published. I am happy to note that till the lockdown, which occurred in Scotland in March 2020, the lodges and study groups functioned normally, organizing talks and meditation gatherings. It is heartening that despite the unprecedented situation, the members of some lodges discussed on virtual basis through webinars. The TS Slovenia has slowly picked up momentum and is making consistent efforts to implement the rules and encourage members. They have added 2 study centers since 2019 to the existing 4 lodges. Not discouraged by the pandemic, they have set up digital contacts among members.
Though all activities in lodges have been restricted due to the situation caused by the pandemic, various branches have organized themselves to continue their regular study and dissemination of activities using digital platforms. Some of them include non-members as well. There are 3 main annual events: a silent retreat conducted by Tran Thi Kim Dew of France was held in December near Madrid, with 50 people attending, on the Heart Sutra, with profound reflections on its different aspects. Jornadas Ibéricas, Iberian Days, traditionally held jointly with the TS in Portugal, had to be cancelled. The summer school was held in August using video conferencing with 300 participants from all over the world on Theosophy, Paradigm and Transformation. Ms. Jayashri Kannan, in charge of the Surendra Narayan Archives at the Adyar headquarters, visited and offered an interactive Mantrams workshop in Barcelona. The Swedish section had organized public lectures on Freemasons, the Quakers, the Seven Rays, and self-transcendence. 2 new study groups and 2 Saturday workshops have been started. Foundation Day on 17th of November 2019 was celebrated at the headquarters in Stockholm. All scheduled lectures, study groups, and summer school were canceled because of the corona pandemic. However, this autumn, study groups were taken up with limited participants. They are quite active on the internet and on the website. TOS Sweden continues to support a school project in Goa called Mango Tree. Raja Yoga by Wallace Slater was translated into the Swedish language and published by the Swedish section.
In a structured manner, the Switzerland TS carried on their regular program. The highlight was a seminar in collaboration with the European Federation and the Italian section. The assembly of the Switzerland TS was held in September 2020. Cantons also carried on vigorously with their activities. Fortnightly, meetings are organized in the Lugana study group. Because of COVID-19, members are meeting through a specially created WhatsApp group. I appreciate their free distribution of magazines and books to generate interest in theosophy. In September, the TS in Ukraine conducted the election for the post of General Secretary. The convention on the theme in the field of truth and beauty took place in November 2020 with a lecture series by invited speakers. It is commendable that the Institute of National Lecturers of Ukraine was set up in November 2019. Interestingly, there is an all-Ukrainian theosophical group which includes non-affiliated members of TS in Ukraine and holds regular weekly meetings. Due to pandemic restrictions from March 2020, the TSU activities take place online through social networks. Many volunteers joined the support meditation groups for healing. This TS presidential agency overarches 4 countries, that is Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, and Myanmar. Suffice it to mention that Singapore and Myanmar lodges were initiated by Colonel H.S. Olcott and therefore are among the oldest in the TS world. I appreciate the effort of the Singapore Lodge. Apart from carrying forward their activities till end of March, including the 47th edition of A Course in Theosophy, which attracted 16 new members, they continued with the programs, observing all COVID-19 guidelines of the government from 1st of August 2020. Online efforts have been continuing satisfactorily. The current president of the Nippon Lodge in Tokyo, which has 30 members, is Naoto Okamoto. It is the only lodge in Japan. Online webinars are held monthly. During the year, 2 books were published. In Malaysia, the lodge functions normally every Saturday and is open to non-members who are cordially invited. Like elsewhere, their activities were adversely impacted by the COVID-19 lockdown. However, online meetings are being attended by members. I congratulate the Myanmar Lodge on receiving the registration certificate from their national government. The Yangon Theosophical Society has 1 lodge with 36 members. Despite the lockdown situation, they celebrated Adyar Day, Wesak Day, and White Lotus Day.
The National Convention on the theme A Dialogue with the Universe, Science, Wisdom, and Creativity, held in Melbourne, was a great success. The Australian section had published an anthology of articles on theosophy and science by Dr. Murdoch, an astrophysicist and founder of the Theosophy Science Group. In March 2020, before the suspension of all activities due to COVID-19, 31 presentations around the section were done through the National Lecturing Program. Because of COVID, from March onwards, the members remained connected to the center through some innovative electronic methods of communication.
Mainamati Lodge and 2 other lodges celebrated the birth anniversary of Annie Besant and Mahatma Gandhi on 1st and 2nd October, respectively. 5 members from TS Bangladesh had attended the last international convention held at Varanasi. Diplomas for 37 members have been issued during the year.
The Indian section has over 10,000 members, distributed among 492 lodges and centers under 16 federations. The president, Pradeep Gohil's term was renewed for 3 years. Goal review and goal-setting meetings were held with representatives of the federations, with the objective of inspiring all to do good work in theosophy. The overall achievement was 63%. It's a good beginning, but there's room for improvement. The main goal this year was to increase the income of the section so as to become financially independent. A dilapidated building in the section headquarters was replaced by a new building of 4 floors. This helped to bring in some substantial income, as well as provide more accommodations for visitors. Now, a total of 200 persons can be accommodated for study camps, conferences, etc. Another important change was the renovation of the 1,500-seat Radha Bernier Amphitheater, inaugurated by President Gohil on the 31st of December 2019 at the start of the 144th International Convention. The annual National Study Camp was held with 80 participants in the headquarters in October on The Teachings of Theosophy and J. Krishnamurti, directed by Professor P. Krishna, who has for long been associated with both the TS and the Krishnamurti Foundations. Uttar Pradesh Federation organized its centenary conference at Agra in October, inaugurated by President Gohil. The theme was One Life, One Consciousness. The real highlight of the year was the hosting of the International Convention at Varanasi in December, after 30 years, with 1,500 delegates, good food, stalls, EV transport, sightseeing trips, and so on, slightly dampened by the extraordinarily cold weather. The 128th convention of the Indian section was held in Varanasi in January on Kindle the Spark Within. A certificate course on self-realization through theosophy was conducted at Varanasi in January, concluding with the induction of 10 new members. The COVID-19 lockdown affected regular activities considerably. The Easter conference in April at Adyar had to be canceled, as also the 9 summer camps planned to be conducted at the Himalayan Study Center in Bowali. The same was the fate of other study classes and camps as well. From October to March, more than 15 national lecturers participated in various programs all over the country. Some of them conducted online study classes after the advent of the pandemic. In January of 2020, the National Section of New Zealand organized a very successful national convention in Hamilton on the theme One Heart, One Breath, One World, which was attended by many theosophists, including the International Vice President, Dr. Deepa Padi, and International Treasurer and TOS Secretary, Nancy Sechrist. They were guest speakers at the National Convention and at several branches. The annual School of Theosophy held in Auckland in October of 2019 was also very fruitful. I'd like to acknowledge the publication of a 7-part online series exploring theosophy. The Indo-Pacific Federation Conference was hosted by the Philippine section in November, which I attended with my wife Lily and other international officers from Adyar. The Youth and Wellbeing Center was inaugurated as a part of the convention. The convention was excellent and it was productive. They had their strategic planning meeting in March, where the programs for the next 7 years were identified. From mid-March, all activities were canceled because of the pandemic. I am happy to note that online weekly meetings were held with international participation in the true spirit of universal brotherhood, apart from similar online seminars. It is heartening that online classes started in September. TOS Philippines is very active with many projects, and the volunteers did a commendable job during the volcano eruption and the COVID-19 lockdown.